Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chatting and Kitbashing. Today we have Nick Brown of LizardForce with us today. So excited to have you join us. He is a previous Artist of the Month, and he's going to give us some, behind the scenes on his process as we kind of chat and talk about random things. So, Nick, start off by telling me what you're going to be working on today.
I'm just working on basically my lizards. I'm working on specifically my marines a little bit, and hopefully making a bit of progress with some of these little bird helicopters behind me.
Cool.
Let's see.
That's awesome. And Sully, what are you working on today?
Today I'm doing a kitbash of something that I just came up with in my head on the fly. So if anybody doesn't know, we recently had a flood, and all of my stuff is like, I can't find anything. I just grabbed some stuff, random stuff, and we're gonna throw it together.
Wow, exciting.
What, are you by the river or something?
No, not by the river. We just had a stint of bad weather, and pipes. The fire system we share a building with another company, and the fire system blew because we had an ice storm and everything froze. The fire system blew on that side of the building, and then 100% loss on that side, and then we got our downstairs flooded.
Oh no, and all the toys and stuff like that.
So we got super lucky because 90% of what we have is on racks. So everything that was on the floor, that was bad news, like computers and surge protectors and printers and
man.
The warehouse is a little bit different right now.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's been a trying time, but luckily just the unimportant stuff like the computers were broken and not the toys.
Yeah.
Right. Well, go ahead and get started working. My first question, I'd love to know what podcasts you guys love to listen to, whether informational or like fictional. Like there's some great like story podcasts out there. What do you guys like to listen to?
Well, sorry,
Joe Rogan?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think the podcasts now, they're we were saying before we kind of started recording this, but yeah, the podcasts are just a really interesting way of hearing. It's just a really nice medium for me to kind of digest these conversations. But I really like really enjoying the Team House at the moment. Team House is amazing. I don't know if you've heard the Team House.
What are they?
I haven't.
Okay, it's these two kind of special forces guys, and they have kind of different people on the podcast, a lot of maybe a few of the same people that you kind of occasionally see on the Joe Rogan podcast, and then what else? I don't know, Grand Thumb, Demolition Ranch, all that kind of stuff. And it's a good way to nerd. It's a good way to nerd out on the guns for the lizards and stuff. But yeah, I think, well, for me, I've never actually fired a gun in my life. It's so I've never really been very close to one. So seeing all the podcasts is the closest that I get to them to make the lizards for my gun.
It's pretty special to be able to actually go do that. And it's a fun sport. It's a fun activity. It's also fun for food.
Yeah. I would absolutely love to. It's just it's never been kind of attainable. But yeah, I don't know. I was always running around playing with BB guns and stuff.
Of course, I think it's just always been the natural way that boys do it, right? So we pick up a stick, it looks like a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but in my artwork, I'm kind of obsessed with them. I don't know, the aesthetic of them and stuff, and kind of keeping up to date with them. I fully kind of nerd out on them. It's this weird thing that kind of for a while I kind of repressed, and then I was hey, I'm deeply into what these are. You see the news, you see kind of people, you see what's going on, and you kind of look at all the the machinery of war and stuff. It's quite fascinating.
And
I don't know.
On a side note, it's all the firearms industry. It's just that's why I like 1/6 scale so much. Is that you can customize the real thing, just like the action figure version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I'm kind of where I'm starting to get now, is kind of starting to find a specific gun and like work that out and then customize it. So I think it's like, I was watching Grantham did this one. He had like a really specific scope on the front,
right?
And I was going to do like a lizard. I was going to do a lizard Grantham for him.
Oh, that's a great idea.
But then I need to find this. But then I need to find this exact scope. I messaged him and asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, but so I've just been taking ages just to find the right parts. There's this like, I don't know what kind of scope it is. I've seen it on a few AKs and stuff.
Yep.
But he has it on one of his videos, and I want to get it like perfect and make a little lizard one of them.
I think that'd be so cool. So you actually talked to him?
I just DM'd him and was like, "Can I make you into a lizard?" Because I just thought it was quite funny. I was just like, I was looking for like inspiration for all these guys, and they're all doing all this like tactical stuff, and I'm like, "Fucking hell, he looks like one of my lizards." So it was like, didn't really. It's just weird, these kind of people that have kind of drifted into my like radar, who I wouldn't have really like picked up on before, but through kind of like just nerding out to get the specifics of the guns right on these guys.
I wanted to, when we were at SHOT Show, I wanted to meet Grantham and ask him if we could produce an action figure of him. I think that would be freaking super cool.
Well, this is what I was meaning to ask you, because you were with Tim Kennedy the other day, right? Was that
that was the picture? Yeah, I met Tim at the show.
Because he's another one that I'm like, I love his podcasts and stuff,
yes,
all that kind of stuff.
So I think along the same lines as Tim Kennedy or several other people. But yeah, I approached a lot of people because I want to do personalities. I want to produce some gun tubers in 1/6 scale, and I think that would be a great launch pad to build the industry, because a lot of those guys would love this stuff if they knew about it. You know, and vice versa.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe one day.
Oh yeah. It's really interesting because all that, like, I'm really interested in what all those guys are doing, and kind of like the whole with what I'm doing. I have to be really kind of sensitive about kind of what hashtags and things I use, because you can get in trouble with kind of saying certain words. And I don't know. It's kind of turned me off Instagram a little bit and made me think maybe YouTube or Twitter is possibly like the place to put my work.
YouTube is
because the algorithm
is owned by Google. If that's anything.
Okay. Smells a bit lizardy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's okay. YouTube is still. I mean, it's where everybody goes to find hobby stuff.
Yeah, I think it's where I spend most of my time for like listening to most of my content and stuff. Sorry, I got a bit lost and distracted then. Let me see, where was I? So basically, do you want me to tell you about what I'm doing at the moment, or?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of basically building out my force. So this behind me is my kind of like little mood board of where I'm going with my lizards in the future. So I'm trying to look towards what kind of conflicts might be happening in the world, so that my lizards are like slightly relevant to them. And one of the things I'm quite interested in at the moment is this whole like US Marine Corps 2030 thing, which is the like lightning. They make all the Marines a bit lighter, and they give them like all this like easy to deploy fast stuff, like Osprey helicopters with these little, that little truck that's in Grand Theft that's in Call of Duty, the little Polaris thing. So they have all that kind of shit driving out the back of them. So this is kind of where I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do with LizardForce, get all my lizards involved in all this kind of stuff.
That sounds like quite the feat.
So
that's going to be cool.
I'm kind of, I'll show you, I'll give you an example with one of the Black Hawks that I did. So what I'm doing at the moment is making, so I'd already started with like having, I guess what pulled me towards you guys was like, I'd obsess over like an object, like, let me show you, like up here, like this, the Patagonia Special Forces jackets
cool, right?
that they did. Yeah. And then I'd kind of like be looking at it from kind of, the actual object point of view, but then I'd see that you guys are doing the little ones, and I'm like, no way, these guys do all this like really specialist stuff. So now I'm kind of like, right, I've got I've got the puppet. I've got the life-size part. What I need next is like the digital version too, because then to kind of like combine them all in this kind of like collagey way. So yeah, so I'm basically just kind of like mixing it up. So I kind of have the real like 1/6 version. Then I have like the digital one, and then I have another one, so I can kind of start to play around with like putting them in front of each other
and actually animating it, or are you just making a static?
Yeah, fully. At the moment, it's kind of like I'm just breaking things apart. So, like, say with the ospreys, I'll get let me see if it loads. I'll get like a flat one. This is a flat one. Like, I break the little flaps off so that the wheels can pop out, and like put the propellers in so the propeller can spin, and then inside a little lizard will go too.
That's sweet.
So, yeah. So it's basically a way of just shortcutting parts of the animation, which is just too fiddly for me to do before, that I was kind of attempting to do with like stop motion, I suppose.
That's cool.
But this is that's kind of my vibe towards where my kind of lizards are going. They're kind of following all these marines along. And maybe I'm going to do some like 1/60th lizards for these kind of black hawks and stuff. Cool. I managed to get, I think since we last spoke, I managed to find another old Black Hawk. So I'm going to do one in the AH and one in the MH. So one's going to have the troops and one's going to have all the missiles and stuff. So work them in somehow. So did all you guys go to the SHOT Show last week?
We did. So it was, I think the last week in February. It was like the 22nd, I think, to the 26th or 27th.
In January.
In January, yeah. Yeah, we just got back from that. Good show. So what we found out is that a lot of people don't know about 1/6 scale. Like all these guys like Call of Duty. They like guns, they like cool gear, they like cool guy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this medium fits kind of right in there. And people were really, really, really liked it. We were at the HRT booth. HRT gear, and it was we basically created a prototype figure with an HRT vest that they produce.
Yeah,
and we had the little the figure, the prototype, on their counter, and everybody that walked in tended to gravitate towards that, and it was neat to watch. People, want to pick it up and want to be interested in it, and where can I get it? And so we pre-sold a lot. Quite a few of them at the SHOT Show. We had a QR code that we gave away, and people could scan it, and then it took them directly to the pre-order page, and then they could make a deposit. But we got a considerably good take, I think, as far as people finding us and finding the industry and finding out this is something that exists. So lots of people interested, lots of big names and big companies. If some good stuff happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, it looks super interesting. So yeah, it sounds like a great idea
for sure.
But yeah, I know there's something about 1/6 scale. Like it's like you don't see it about that much, but every time I'd see it before I start to make it, it's just like, I don't know, it just seems kind of magical. Just like this magical, like everything a little bit smaller just looks better for some reason. But yeah, it's just this beautiful, like, I don't know whether it's like some special ratio or something, but something about that size is just like, I don't know. It's just
you know what it is? I think personally it's because growing up we had the 12-inch G.I. Joe figures.
Yeah, that's true. That was a big part of my childhood. So that will
having stuff that you can pick up and tinker with and display. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I heard in your last podcast that you mentioned that you're ADHD, right? Okay. Well, it's funny because I got diagnosed like 2 weeks ago, and I just heard your thing on it, and then since then I keep hearing about people getting diagnosed. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's made me thinking about things in a different way.
Yeah, it's just basically the biggest thing for me is I start something and then I do 20 other different things before I come back and finish that first thing I started.
well, this is making me realise this is why my life's full of just unfinished shit. And I'm just like, Anouk was just, my girlfriend was just telling me, why don't you just like finish one thing that you do? It's just like, I basically just start a load of stuff, get it to a stage where I'm like happy with it, and then like it's this thing that I have with all my work is like, I have to like, it has to be slightly better than the last thing that I made. And then like as soon as I've got to that stage, the thing that's not at that stage is just kind of like I'm over it instantly. So there's all this stuff, but then eventually I've kind of forgotten why I didn't like it, and then I start to like it again, or not like it. But yeah, I think that's what my life is, just a unfinished puzzle. But I guess having a hobby where there isn't really necessarily such an end is almost like, I don't know, it's a very hard thing to manage, because you could spend hours on one figure. Or days or weeks. I can like drift into, because they're so like beautiful to look at.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You can just like sit, like sometimes you try and work on them. Like now I'm just like standing there just in love with these little dinosaurs or whatever, my little friends. And then it's like, what can I do to fix them? And I remember I've got to do some stuff. But yeah, I've got to give them more guns.
That's what you could do.
To them.
Can you show us how you put the dinosaur head from the dinosaur to the figure?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Let me show you a good example.
I sort of would love to see you rip a dinosaur head off of a dinosaur.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because I should do the decapitation thing. Yeah. That's like the sword. There's several different ways to the drill.
Give the people what they want.
That's right.
Yeah, I've got a miniature one. Let me.
Oh, you have a guillotine? Oh no.
Well, no, it's a lot more primitive. It's like it's almost like everyone asks me how I do it. It's just a hacksaw, and then I get like finer as I get closer to it. Here we go. I've got this guy. He's perfect for a nice little chopping.
Oh wow, he's articulated mouth and everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I love it.
Yeah, I'm not so keen on these flappy bits here. I'll probably just get rid of them. Just inspecting the best place to make an incision here. Maybe this isn't, but maybe it'd be better if I chose like a 1/6 one. But I haven't got a fresh dino. Let me see. I've got a box of heads.
Like a whole box?
Yeah, they're kind of like duds and rejects that I've kind of got to a certain stage and kind of just like aborted, or just like Dremel too much or something. I think, unfortunately, my heads are in that flight case, like right underneath all those other lizards.
No problem.
That might be a bit tricky to reach those guys. Let me see. I can show you a couple of freshly cut heads that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out the... Okay, so I've got two, and I've got another great example of a head that I've sort of semi-messed up, but it's a lovely head, so I need to try and repair it. Oh, this one's a beauty, this one. I'll have a look. I think I got this from you guys, actually. I don't know if you remember individual.
Yeah, the 21st century SOAR helmet.
Oh,
it's
perfect for my little birds. Oh, great. You know, I was looking for that helmet for quite a while, and it's quite an expensive one, so I had to wait for it to go on sale, because it was like, I was looking all over the place.
A lot of those helmets nowadays are super, super rare, and they're just not made anymore. And to have somebody... Like if Soldier Story re-released the SOAR helmet that they did originally, it was still like hotcakes, and you could do a bunch of different variations.
Oh, I love it. I need another one. Well, I'm gonna need 3 more, I think, because I've got like 1 pilot so far, but I was looking for it for a while. Okay, so here he is. Trying to reverse, pull his head off. Okay, so this is like an easy and simple body, with a very, very basic like hacksaw off the top, and then into the bottom I'd normally just drill something that would be the same size as this bit here if they have the neck piece, and then they can. I mean, it seems like really like you don't put a lot of effort in, but that it kind of works the best if you're animating them, because they kind of just, I don't know, they sort of stay together better than if I had like a head like this one, where I've put a lot more effort into Get this guy off. I know, not necessarily put a lot of effort into this guy. But with this one here, I'd kind of just like drill like a hole into it and then get one of these pieces off you guys, which I guess is from a head. I just like hack
that's super smart.
Throw him on. And then the problem is the hat always falls off the dyno. So then what I do is, this is like an old school Action Man. Or like one of the 80s Action Men that you can always find at car boot sales. So the head's the perfect size. So I just use a little bit of it and like...
That's amazing.
He's okay as long as he's not taking his hat off. But it sort of holds the hats in place nicely. I need to watch you guys more for how to put together all the headphones and shit and all the details on the top of these things. That's what I'm terrible at. That's why I'm watching your ones, just because like half the time I'm like, fuck it, you just have a beanie.
It takes a lot of practice, right? And it takes a lot. You have to put in the time. You put in the time and you do it slowly and carefully. It tends to turn out pretty good.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go into it.
And it's fiddly, huh? Yeah. I see you guys doing it, and I'm like, they're the bits that are like maybe like a couple of steps that like I would have given up before that point. Do you know what I mean? I'm already like, you looks good, but like, yeah. But it's nice to see you guys do it, and it's definitely kind of pushing me to kind of want to take these ones a little bit further.
Yeah, it's doing videos. We tend to shoot a build in one day, right? So just doing a build on a figure, we could be in the chair for 3 to 5 hours typically. But we photo or basically film the whole thing, and then we break it into 5 different segments typically. So you have the helmet and comm, you have the final fitment, you have the weapon. But it's a lot of time, energy, and effort to do that. But people do appreciate it, and I think that it creates a smarter customer, and they're able to do it more professionally and better and make it. And you see people's skill improve over time, and that's great.
Yeah.